Do you think people can identify as a certain race?
No, I do not believe you can identify as a certain race.
So do you think identifying as a different race is offensive?
This is a very good question. I think, I don't know. You can't become something that is recognized off of skin color if you weren't that skin color your whole
Right,
life.
because it's biological. Do you think that people who claim transracial are making a mockery of real black people?
Yes. Yes.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talks Queen here. Today we'll be reacting to Prager U's latest and most viral video recently. Is that transracialism and transgenderism, are they the same thing? In my mind, they are. They're based off the same delusion that subjectivity is has greater priority than objectivity, right? It's feelings over facts, right? They both operate on the same premise. So I don't understand why there's an inconsistency there, where if you ask a liberal or these progressives, because this is in California campuses now, this is college. These are the people who are supposed to be educated, more enlightened than the common person. Yet they can't actually see the hypocrisy or the inconsistencies they have between transracialism and transgenderism. They're the same concept. Hey, your skin color isn't your ethnicity is not something tangible. Anyone can identify with an ethnicity. Hell, Elon Musk is African American, but no one wants to claim. No one's gonna say, "Oh, he's not African American," because at the end of the day, that's a nationality, or being born in a geographical location has no ties to your physical immutable traits. To me, there's a lot of delusional people in this world, bro, and it seems like this making truth this my truth stance, it's dumb, because at the end of the day, my truth it doesn't override objective truth. No matter how much you guys want to value my truth, because operating in this subjective, self-centered way is the easiest way to create tribalism in this country. And this is why I say it's a form of Marxism. This stuff is a form of Marxism. You put man against woman, women against men, people who observe objective truths versus subjective truths, moral relativism, right? This is all part of postmodernist theory. Right? And there's a great book I'll recommend in the description. It's called Parasitic Mind. And that is a great book to break down the origins of these ideas. Right? Deconstructionist, like they all they want to do is destroy societal norms and create new ones. And the new one is no one can be transracial. That's kind of offensive. But anyone could be transgenderism. Everyone could be transgender. Like, it makes no sense. Right. But, hey, liberals are not known for their consistency. So in this next part, you're going to observe the cognitive dissonance these people have. And even earlier, the black girl in the beginning, I'll probably put a picture of her right here. You're going to catch the double speak here. You're going to catch the cognitive dissonance, the mental gymnastics that she has to do to justify her position for transracialism. But then when it comes to transgenderism, she's like, oh, she's here stuttering, trying to figure out what to say to make it seem cohesive in her arguments. Hey, I'm done talking. Let's get into the next clip.
Have you guys heard the term woman face?
No.
Have you heard this term? So this is men who identify as women, and then they benefit socially and financially from many cases. Do you guys know Dylan Mulvaney?
No.
So he transitioned, and after he transitioned to a woman, he has millions of dollars in brand deals. You have Leah Thomas, who has William Thomas, ranked very low on the swimmer scoreboards. After transitioning, was #1 in the country.
It's bullshit to me that you reap benefits for something you're not.
I think that is a completely different story. Being transgender is something where you can genuinely be born with different biological features or whatever, and that doesn't contribute to gender or like societal norms at all. I think those are two completely different things.
Is woman face offensive?
I don't think that's woman face. I think those are people who were born in the wrong bodies, who are becoming themselves.
So if you can identify with a different gender, why can't you identify with a different race?
The biological side of it, because race has no biological connections whatsoever. It's purely based off of physical appearances.
I just asked you if it was biological. You said yes.
Is recognized off of skin color if you weren't that skin color your whole
Right,
life.
because it's biological.
Or I mean, sex has biological backings, but gender is not. Gender is a spectrum.
As you can see, cognitive dissonance, right? Because end of the day, this is why I think college is a scam, right? And this is why I no longer give so much weight and value to a college degree as a credential, because essentially you're getting taught how to view things a specific way. to view something as a narrow, like this is the only way you could view something, right? And in the book I recommended earlier in the video, Parasitic Mind, they go in depth about the ratio of liberal professors compared to conservative professors. And the rate is astonishing. It could be 93-7 in some campuses. UCL, Berkeley, especially UCLA, shoot. There's 99.6% Democrat to Republican ratio in UCLA specifically. And that baffled me. I was like, wow, heavy liberal bias. And you wonder why these kids come out when they go to college and they come out, they're so liberal. When their little girl, she came in a certain way, got out of college, she blue hair short, believing all these nonsense, right? And this is one of the reasons why I think conservatives are silently boycotting college. This is why we're looking at the trade schools. Why are we thinking of finding alternative paths? I found an alternative path because when I was doing my 2 year, when I did my junior year in college, I didn't feel welcome there. I wasn't necessarily a conservative then, but I knew like there's some positions I had that people would label me a conservative for, right? And I didn't feel comfortable in college anymore. So I found an alternative route. I was like, look, I'm doing this full-time job. Let me see if I can get paid what I'm worth because I have the experience. And once I was able to justify that, once I was able to prove that to myself, I was like, bye-bye college. I don't need you, right? And I think this is a lot of route that the conservatives are going through because this is what we have to deal with. Conservatives are conserving reality at this point. Like culturally, we're conserving reality. We're conserving critical thinking. We're conserving freedom of speech, freedom to debate. This is what conservatives are conserving right now. Because there's a point where society can go too far. Pareto principles, 80% of new ideas are bad. This is one of them. You can't justify your position with transracialism, and then when someone applies it to transgenderism, you like, oh no, it's a spectrum. Race is not a spectrum. How many kinds of Black Americans there exist in this country? Jamaican, Haitian, African, Nigerian, like what? There's no inconsistency there. All he did was change the parameters. Okay, instead of focusing on your race, we're going to focus on your gender. They can be consistent when it benefits them, but when it's something that's inconvenient for their position, that's when you hear the. And this is what happened when you have no moral consistency, no logical consistency, because then you get people in the DOJ turning a blind eye to this stuff because they're not allowed to criticize this stuff. And this is what's going on in the college today is that people are making certain things forbidden knowledge. They don't want you to look into racial disparities, sex differences. They don't want you to look into that because if your evidence or your research prove that there's biological differences or that racial disparities is not due to race but due to behavior and actions that groups of people do, oh my God, you're trying to victim blame. You're trying to put all the responsibility on the individuals, which in my view is the biggest indicator of whether someone's going to be successful or not is the actions and decisions they make personally in their lives because of biological and environmental factors. But they don't want to get into that. They just want to make, America's a racist country. America's a sexist country. This is why women and minorities don't do well in this country instead of blaming the individuals themselves. But hey, I digress. I mean, I've been going off too much, right? So in this next clip, he's going to press a little harder on the inconsistencies with the two positions and trying to get an idea of how these people can rectify the fact that they think transracialism is mocking Black people, but they don't see transgenderism as mocking women. Let's take a look.
Why is it socially acceptable to be transgender, but it's not socially acceptable to be transracial?
I think that's like they're very different things. I think that like I don't know how to phrase this in a way, but I would say like is.
I wouldn't say I'm educated enough to have the proper definition of like separating the two.
But what about like how Rachel Dolezal, she said that she was born in the wrong body, that she really is Black. Why is that any different than being born in the wrong body and being a woman or a man?
I don't know how to explain it, but I know that it is.
I feel like people, they have the freedom to do what they want.
Is that an endorsement of transracialism?
Kind of got me, huh?
Do you see the hypocrisy here?
I do see the hypocrisy, but I don't think the hypocrisy is like, I'm not trying, how do I phrase this?
Maybe it's like If I want to be a dragon, I can just be a dragon or something.
Why is it socially acceptable for people to identify as a different gender, but it's not socially acceptable for people to identify as a different race?
Well, I don't know. That's a great question.
I hear a lot of people on this campus today that say the black face is wrong, but the woman face is totally acceptable. Why is there a double standard for race and gender?
That I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
The reason why this is a double standard for race and gender is because in these liberal colleges, and I already made my case why liberal colleges are so bad. They're killing critical thinking, right? They're killing the idea that there are things that supersede your personal beliefs and subjective view on things, right? If scientific method tells you, hey, gravity exists, but you personally believe gravity don't exist, who's going to win in that department? Gravity's going to win. Reality is going to win, right? And that is what people should subject themselves to, right? This is what academia should subject itself to: seeking the truth, looking for the truth, not creating my truth and trying to make reality fit my truth. That's not how the world works. Because at the end of the day, in my view, this might be because of my Christian upbringing, it's God's world. We just live in it. And if you don't like how the way God made the world, then go create your own. Nope. You can't do it. You can't create your own world. So therefore, you have to operate in the confines of reality. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care what you are. Because to me, as a Christian or whatever, I worship the truth. Right? In the Bible, God said he's the truth. So that's what I worship. Logos, the Stoics, they talk about seeking virtue, looking for virtue. That's what, end of the day, we all pointing to the same thing. Hey, there's something higher than myself. And this is, to me, this is why I think transgenderism, transracialism, any trans thing is a form of narcissism, because they actually believe that they can bend reality to their own will. When in objective truth, like from an empirical stance, they cannot do that. It doesn't matter how much you self-identify as something else. I can self-identify as a Nordic Viking. There's no way in hell someone will see me as a Nordic Viking. And I must accept that reality. And this is the problem that I'm starting to notice in society, especially in these liberal colleges, is that they value, they hold not hurting someone's feelings as a point of virtue, instead of seeking truth, instead of having the courage to tell someone how it is, to be blunt about it. Say, hey, look, you're not a woman, you're a man. You must accept that. The sooner you can face that reality, the sooner you can get past this. And there are going to be some growing pains, but you have to conform to reality. You have to operate in reality, right? Like Jordan Peterson said, he made this great example, and I'm probably end it off here. Can you play a game with no rules? It's possible, but end of the day, there's no confines to actually operate in, right? Can you play basketball with no rules? Someone's dribbling it like this. You're like, hey, that's a travel. He's like, oh, there's no rules here. And this is what we're doing to our society. And you notice how when he asked the question to the men recognize, damn, there's inconsistency here. I can't do it. He got me. But the women were still trying to justify saying, oh, no, the feelings. And I think this is how these liberal movements grow, because they appeal to emotion, and women are more susceptible to this. I'm sorry. That's just biological facts. Women are more susceptible to manipulation in an emotional sense. Men, not so much. Men can look at something and be like, yeah, he's kind of right. I can't incentivize the two. Right. And because college is killing critical thinking, college is teaching kids and our students in our society to view issues a certain way. And there's consequences if you don't view it a certain way. And this is what I'm talking about. These people who are pushing transgenderism, they're taking the same playbook as communists, Marxists. Hey, 2 + 2 is 5. If you do not say the party line approved line, then you'll be ostracized, you'll be shamed, you'll be punished. And that's what they're doing right here. Because people know there's no consequence in calling transracialism as it is. Hey, that's a mockery of black people. But then if you go to transgenderism, they know, damn, if I call this out, I could lose my job, I could lose my career, I could be ostracized from my social group, especially in a super liberal college like UCLA. You can't win. And this is what people are really scared of. This is why people can't say the truth, because they're scared of the consequences of calling out transgenderism, right? Because there's no consequences for they're calling out transracialism. That's the difference. That's why they can say something about transracialism, but they can't say nothing about transgenderism, because there's no consequences for calling out transracialism, but there is if you call out transgenderism. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your insights and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I really do appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.